The night was alive with the quiet hum of luxury. The city skyline glowed, its golden lights reflecting off the sleek black surface of Keanu Reeves's motorcycle as he pulled up outside an upscale restaurant. He had no reservations, no plans, just a restless need to clear his mind. As he removed his helmet, something caught his eye. A young girl sitting on the cold pavement near the entrance. She couldn't have been more than 10 years old. Her oversized hoodie swallowed her small frame, and her hands clutched a small basket of roses. She wasn't begging, just watching people pass with tired eyes. Keanu frowned. He had seen many things in life, but something about her felt different. He took a step forward. "Hey there," he said gently. "Selling flowers this late?" The girl looked up, startled, then quickly dropped her gaze. "Only a few left," she murmured. "I have to sell them before I go home." Keanu knelt beside her, his tone softer. "Where's home?" She hesitated. A shadow of something flickered in her eyes. Fear, or maybe something deeper. "Far," she whispered. Keanu glanced at the restaurant doors as a well-dressed couple walked past, ignoring them completely. He turned back to the girl. "What's your name?" She gripped the basket tighter. "Sophia." "Sophia." He reached into his pocket, pulling out his wallet. "I'll take them all." But Sophia didn't reach for the money. She stared at him, a mix of hesitation and something unreadable. "Why?" Keanu paused. It was a simple question, but for some reason, it felt heavier than it should. Before he could answer, Sophia's expression changed. Her eyes widened in alarm. She abruptly stood up, gripping her basket. "I have to go," she said hurriedly, glancing over his shoulder. Keanu followed her gaze and saw a black SUV parked across the street. The back window rolled down slightly, but the interior remained dark. A strange chill ran down his spine. Sophia turned away, stepping back into the shadows. "Forget you saw me," she whispered. Then, without another word, she disappeared into the night. Keanu stood there, his hand still holding the money he never got to give. The city buzzed around him, oblivious. But something told him, this wasn't just a girl selling flowers. And he was about to find out why. Keanu's instincts kicked in. He wasn't the type to pry into strangers' lives. But something about Sophia's reaction didn't sit right. That fear in her eyes. It wasn't just hesitation. It was something deeper, something real. His gaze flickered back to the black SUV. It hadn't moved. The tinted window was still slightly rolled down, as if someone inside was watching. Keanu slipped his hands into his jacket pockets, playing it cool, but his mind was already racing. Then, slowly, the SUV pulled away from the curb. No headlights, no sound. Just a quiet retreat into the night. Keanu exhaled, shaking his head. He turned to where Sophia had been moments ago, but she was gone, vanished into the city's dark veins. For a moment he considered letting it go. Just another night. Just another strange encounter. But then his eyes fell on the sidewalk where she had been sitting. A single red rose lay there, crushed. Something in his gut twisted. Keanu wasn't a man who ignored his instincts. He slipped the flower into his pocket and turned toward the alley where she had disappeared. His boots echoed against the pavement as he moved deeper into the shadows. The luxury of the restaurant behind him faded, replaced by flickering streetlights, damp brick walls, and the distant hum of the city. He was stepping into a different world now. Then, voices. Keanu pressed himself against the corner of a building, listening. A rough male voice, low but firm. "You know the rules, Sophia. No talking to strangers." A pause. Then Sophia's trembling voice. "I didn't say anything." Keanu clenched his jaw. That was fear in her tone. Another voice, colder this time. "You're lying." A sudden sharp sound. A slap. Keanu's fingers curled into fists. He stepped forward, not caring about staying hidden anymore. And that's when he saw them. Two men, one gripping Sophia's arm, towering over her like a shadow. The other, standing slightly back, watching with the detached stare of someone who had done this 1,000 times. Sophia was frozen, her face turned away, cheek red. Keanu stepped into the light, his voice calm but firm. "Let her go." Both men snapped their heads up. The one holding Sophia narrowed his eyes. "Who the hell are you?" Keanu tilted his head slightly, his expression unreadable. "Someone who doesn't like seeing kids get hurt." For a brief moment, silence stretched between them. The street lamp above flickered, casting long shadows. Then, the man gripping Sophia smirked. "Walk away. This doesn't concern you." Keanu's gaze darkened. He had dealt with men like this before. Men who thought they could get away with anything. He took a step closer. "See, that's where you're wrong." The man gripping Sophia smirked, but there was a flicker of hesitation in his eyes. He wasn't dealing with some random bystander. This was Keanu Reeves. And even if he didn't recognize him, there was something in Keanu's stance. The quiet confidence. The way his hands remained loose but ready, that made the air shift. The second man, the one who had been watching silently, took a slow step forward. His voice was measured, almost amused. "You really don't want to get involved in this." Keanu's expression didn't change. He wasn't one for unnecessary words. The man holding Sophia tightened his grip, making her wince. "She belongs to us," he sneered. That was the last straw. Keanu moved fast. A sharp pivot, a single step forward, and before the man could react, Keanu's fist connected with his wrist. A precise, controlled strike. Not to break, just to release. The man grunted in pain, his grip on Sophia breaking instantly. She stumbled backward, eyes wide. The second man lunged, aiming a wild punch. Keanu dodged effortlessly, stepping aside and letting the momentum carry his attacker past him. Before the man could recover, Keanu caught him by the back of his jacket and sent him crashing into the wall. The first guy was already scrambling to his feet, reaching into his pocket. Keanu didn't give him a chance. A swift kick to the chest sent him sprawling back against the pavement. Sophia was frozen, staring. This was playing out like a scene from a movie, except it was real. The two men groaned, struggling to get up. But Keanu wasn't waiting. He turned to Sophia, his voice calm but firm. "Come with me." She hesitated, glancing at the men. Fear kept her rooted. Keanu softened his tone, offering his hand. "Trust me." Something in his eyes, honest, unwavering, made her take a shaky breath. Then, finally, she placed her small, trembling hand in his. They moved quickly, disappearing down the alley before the two men could recover. Minutes later, they emerged onto a quiet street, far from the luxury restaurant, far from the danger. Keanu glanced down at her. "Are you okay?" Sophia nodded weakly, but she was still breathing hard, her fingers clutching the edge of her worn-out sweater. Keanu crouched slightly to meet her gaze. "Who were those men?" For a long moment she didn't answer. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, They own me." Keanu's chest tightened. "What do you mean?" Sophia looked away. "I owe them money. A lot of money." Keanu frowned. A girl this young. How could she be in a situation like this? Then, she swallowed hard and looked up at him. "And if I don't pay, they're going to sell me." The words hit like a punch to the gut. Keanu's jaw clenched. This wasn't just some random street altercation. This was something much, much darker. Keanu took a slow breath, forcing himself to stay calm. The girl's eyes were filled with something deeper than fear. It was hopelessness. A kind of surrender he had seen before, in people who had been broken one piece at a time. Not this time. "We're going to fix this," he said, his voice steady. "How much do you owe?" Sophia hesitated, glancing around as if she expected the shadows to have ears. Then, she whispered, $50,000. Keanu's stomach twisted. That wasn't pocket change. It was a life sentence for someone like her. He knew exactly what kind of people she was dealing with. The kind who didn't just take your money. They took everything. He exhaled sharply. Who are they? She hesitated. They call themselves the collectors. They find people who are desperate. Kids like me. People with nowhere to go. They give you money. Say it's a favor. But the moment you take it, they own you. Keanu's fists tightened at his sides. He had heard of operations like this. They targeted the vulnerable, pushed them into an impossible debt, then used fear to keep them trapped. Do you have a way out? He asked. Sophia let out a bitter laugh. If I did, I wouldn't be standing outside a restaurant hoping someone would help me. Keanu studied her. She was exhausted, running on nothing but nerves and adrenaline. We're not going to let them take you, he said, his tone final. She blinked, like she wasn't sure if she had heard him correctly. What? You heard me. He straightened, his mind already working through the problem. We need to make sure they don't come after you again. Sophia scoffed. That's not how this works. They don't stop. Keanu met her gaze, unwavering. Neither do I. For the first time, her hardened expression cracked. It was small, just a flicker of something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Keanu glanced down the empty street. He had money, more than enough to clear her debt. But throwing cash at a problem like this wouldn't fix the real issue. These men would just move on to the next victim. No, this had to end another way. They have a place, right? He asked. Somewhere they do business? Sophia hesitated, then nodded. An old warehouse near the docks. That's where they take people who don't pay. Keanu's jaw tightened. He knew what he had to do. We're going there, he said. Sophia's eyes widened. What? No! You don't know these guys. They don't care who you are. Keanu gave her a small, almost amused smile. Then, they're about to have a very bad night. Sophia looked at him like he was insane. But beneath the fear, there was something else. For the first time in a long time, she believed that maybe, just maybe, someone was willing to fight for her.